listening to pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 185, Social Penetration. When we look around right now, and this is basically the same, regardless whether we look at our political landscape, our international landscape, our domestic landscape. It's the same when we look at our regional situation. It's the same when we look at our social life, the people we know, the people we spend time with. It's the same with our families. On all levels of our social life, this is a trend that we may notice at all places. No matter where we look, we see different versions of what we may call social penetration. In today's episode, which is called Social Penetration, we release this word. We set free this word, penetration, which in our time has been reduced to something like kitsch, or something immature or purely sexual. That penetration is only about sex or something quite flat and narrow-minded. But to just, with a drastic example, open up our horizon just quickly, so that we may see that penetration is so much more. If we go to our cultural heritage of Christianity, when Jesus was on the cross and the Romans speared him, they penetrated him. And this moment, this act, means so much. And that is just one example of how complex and nuanced penetration can be. It had so many real consequences for how we relate to Jesus, in that he was penetrated in the way that he was. So penetration is not just some flat, narrow, sexual act. It can be so many things. And today we talk about penetration as being social. We add the word social before it to sort of open up that penetration is so much more than the sexual aspect or the kitschy aspect of it. Something social is something that has to do with relationships, that is complex, changing. It leads to different things. It is multifaceted. So we will now talk about some different examples of current examples of social penetration that we see in our day. If we look at the international picture, some countries are penetrating other countries. Russia is penetrating Ukraine. The Palestinians and Israelis are penetrating each other. The different factions in the Middle East are penetrating each other back and forth with missiles and the like. In Europe, we see the individual countries and the European Union. We see the European Union penetrating the individual countries. And those are just a few examples. If we see to our domestic situation, if we talk about Sweden for a moment, there are very much criminality now in Sweden, much more than has been before. We see detonations almost every day. We see a lot of gun violence, shootings. This is penetration. We see a lot of knife violence, stabbings. This is penetration. If we see in our political climate, politicians and the like, between media and politicians, there is a lot of name calling. Name calling is also a form of penetration. One person sort of penetrates a nickname or a bad name into another person. People are calling each other all kinds of things. There's a lot of name calling going on. And that is one form of social penetration. Five years ago, when the COVID pandemic happened, governments throughout our world penetrated its citizens with the needles, with the vaccines. They put something inside of their bodies. That's also a form of social penetration. So when we add all these things together, we see that penetration is something very complex. It's something can be difficult to talk about because it is so much and we feel very strongly about it. Today's Polaroid, the emotional skill of today, is our specific skill, traction, under our worn out situation. And the point that we are making today is that penetration is going on all over. We are penetrating each other all the time. It's just part of social life. That's what we do. We sort of violate each other's boundaries and go into each other, call each other names, we say things that might not be true, we make accusations, we make all sort of stuff. And when we do not really make a craft out of it, when we think about penetration as being absent altogether, or that we do not do it and we never do it, we might think, I'm not a person who penetrates anyone. I'm here and you're over there and we don't penetrate each other. When we think like that, we get worn out. Our worn out situation. Instead, when we sort of call it out, when we are open and clear about that it is happening, it is complex, yes, but it is happening all over, at all levels, then all this penetration can, instead of leading to us feeling worn out, can feel to us feeling traction in life. And traction we can make use of. We can go places. We can live interesting lives, is what I'm saying. That's what's important. That's what we want, to live interesting lives. So now when you're listening to me in this podcast, you are allowing yourself to be penetrated by me. In an act of trust, you are letting me inside of you, socially. I'm socially penetrating you right now. And after you have listened to this, or at some other point during today or tomorrow, you will penetrate someone. Maybe not with what I'm saying right now, but with something else. And that's how it goes. And penetration will always go on. We will always do it. That's not the interesting part, if we do it or not. The interesting part is what we do it for. With what intention are we penetrating each other? That's what's important. That's what's interesting. And our goal for our worn out situation is to achieve symmetry, social symmetry, to penetrate and to be penetrated. And all of us feel whole, feel that our life is interesting when there is symmetry to how we penetrate and are penetrated. That's what we sort of strive for, whether we think that we do or not. Symmetry. So symmetry and traction, they are related. When we feel traction, when life feels interesting and like we are doing it together, it's basically related, or in some sense the same thing as when we have symmetry. And that is the intention we have, or should have, I should say, when we penetrate each other. That we're striving for this sort of interesting feeling, this sort of feeling that we are doing this together. There's something about what we're doing that is leading to something we want to see. So, in you allowing yourself to be penetrated right now, socially, by me, you want to see something interesting. You have something you're curious about. And that is a very good thing. So penetration is not good, it's not bad, it's just what it is. But our compass is to know that we want symmetry. We want to both penetrate and be penetrated socially. And we want something that feels like we're doing it together in traction. And we want it to feel interesting. That's what we want. And right now, in Christmas time, in families, we are doing this all over the place. We are calling each other names, we are making accusations, we are fighting, we are coming to each other's houses, each other's homes, which also is a form of penetration. We are eating each other's food, which is also a form of penetration, the food going into the body. We point our fingers and say, you are like this, no, you are like that. It's just penetration all over the place. And it's always gonna be there. It's not inherently good or bad, it's just how it is. So we might as well do something interesting with it. It can be so much more. It can be something enjoyable. It does not have to be sexual. It does not have to be flat. It does not even have to be violent. It can be just right. It can feel right. That's it for today. Thank you.